especially invisible illness, there's a lot of misconceptions, and like I said, a lot of people would have been like, well, you could drive, and yes, technically I could. It just wasn't super enjoyable, and I'm not saying it wasn't enjoyable. I'm like, oh, why do I always have to drive, or it's going to be time. I mean, it would like create a meltdown in me because of how tense it was, and it just meant I didn't want to go anywhere. And this also impacted the people around me, because I know at one point my husband was like, I just don't want to have to drive all the time. And I love that he did that. He would drive for it all the time, but I felt guilty, and it added to my feelings of guilt and of being a burden and not pulling my own weight. And it also made me upset because I felt like he thought I had a choice. And I did. Technically I did. And I would step in and I would say, okay, let me drive for 2 hours and so you can rest and take a nap. But it would create tension and stress, and it meant that the trip we were taking was going to be probably ending with a meltdown by one of us, whether he was pissy because he had to drive the whole way, or I was angry because I was so now like tense and everything hurt, and I would get to the hotel and have to take a Valium and Vicodin and Imitrex and Motrin, and I'd still be in pain. But it really impacted our life, and it impacted the people around me, because I was always like, no, can't drive. Can you drive? Okay. And I'm sure people thought, wow, you're a pain in the butt. Like, why can't you ever drive? I see you driving. I know you drive. I know you go to Boston. I know you go to the store. I know you go to class. I know you can drive. And yeah, I can drive. But again, we don't have a really good understanding of mental illness and physical disabilities in this culture, where we think just because somebody looks like they can, that it's not putting undue and unnecessary stress on them. And of course I wanted to be independent, and I wanted to pull my own weight, and I didn't want to be a burden, and I wanted to be able to go and, go back and forth and do things, when I wanted to. But I was also in the grasp of a really horrific disease, and it was calling the shots a lot of the time, and I was just sort of trying to get by.